Opening night is here for the 26th WNBA season, and there's a lot of excitement. The competition is as wide open as it's ever been. There are genuinely up to 6 teams that are a real shot at winning it all, with many others on the brink of big time success too. So as we look ahead to the regular season, I figured I'd drop some early predictions about the upcoming year. These predictions will be bold, which, for those who don't know, is an outlandish statement that sounds ridiculous, but there is a possibility it could come true. So if some of these predictions do sound crazy, it's intentional, as they are meant to be hot takes, but at the same time, I'll try to keep them somewhat realistic. Before we start, if you are new here and enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. For more women's basketball content like this, I'd love to reach 3,000 subscribers on this channel by June, so all support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, with that being said, let's get right into these predictions. Number 1. A'ja Wilson averages 25 points per game. I'm starting this video off with a bang. Only one player in the history of the WNBA has averaged over 25 points per game in a single season, and that was Diana Taurasi back in 2006, only ever completing this rare accomplishment once, though she came very close to doing it again in 2008. However, I think A'ja Wilson, now right in the prime of her career at nearly 26 years old, has the potential to join her in that elusive club. The Las Vegas Aces lost one of their stars in the front court this past off-season, as Liz Cambage dipped to Los Angeles in free agency. Though this could negatively impact the Aces somewhat, it could also allow A'ja Wilson to take over, as she'll have far more opportunity to get shots up when she isn't sharing the court with someone as shot dominant as Cambage can be. A'ja Wilson is now also being coached by Becky Hammon, a person who could instantly be one of the best coaches in the league. With Hammond's coaching talent, I have no doubt that Wilson will get a lot of good sets run for her, resulting in a more efficient system around her and in turn, more efficient scoring opportunities more regularly. Though Wilson has been the primary option for this team the past few seasons, she's now going to be the clear number 1 option for 40 full minutes. And with that, plus the other factors I've mentioned, I genuinely think she has the chance to break some offensive records this season. She's surrounded by great playmakers, and after a slight down year due to a drop-off in usage rate in 2021, I can see her bouncing back and taking over in 2022. Number 2. The Los Angeles Sparks win the championship. I mentioned this in my last video, but I figured I'd go into some more depth now because I am truly a big fan of what the Sparks are building currently. The big reason why I rate the Sparks so much is Liz Cambage's addition. The first thing that jumps out to me is how elite the front court of the Sparks now is. It was already very solid with the Ogunbowale sisters, but this is arguably the best front court in the league now with Cambage on board. With Liz's height and strength, she's one of the most unstoppable players on the low block, and is one of the best finishers around the basket in the entire league, who shoots over 80% from 3 feet inside of the basket. It's going to be a scary sight having these two attacking the paint. Liz Cambage on this roster is going to make the Sparks damn near unstoppable. It's hard to imagine any team having the depth and size to match their frontcourt prowess. The Aces were always a top 2 side with their formidable frontcourt core and deep bench, and while the Sparks may lack some of the depth that those Aces sides had, with a lot of contending teams potentially regressing this season, like the Aces or Mercury without Griner, I think the Sparks can easily leap up the standings and be a force to be reckoned with. However, what excites me the most about this team is their defense. We saw what an elite defense can do for a solid offensive team last season with the Connecticut Sun, so it's kind of crazy to imagine what kind of dominance we could see out of LA if things started clicking. Sykes is one of the best perimeter defenders out there. She's an absolute pest to ball handlers and racks up a ton of steals nightly. Nneka and Shanae are also fantastic in their own right. If this group stays healthy and can continue to incorporate players like Samuelson, Canada, and Nelson Adota into their system, they're going to be a nightmare to come up against on both ends of the floor. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm aware this is a pretty bold prediction considering the talent pool on teams like the Sun, Sky, Storm, and even the Aces still, but I'm just such a big fan of how this roster is constructed on paper, and the preseason games lately are giving me a bit more hope with this squad. Number 3. Arike Ogunbowale wins the MVP. Ogunbowale has been an incredible talent since college, cutting down the nets with Notre Dame and taking the Dallas Wings to a playoff spot last season. She's been a top-level scorer in the WNBA since arriving in 2019, consistently averaging near 20 points a game for her career. She's been close to exploding as a mega superstar for a couple of years now, but I think finally in 2022, we'll see her take her game to the next level. Dallas's roster is pretty much built perfectly around her. I really like the offseason they had and what this roster is looking like on paper. If the supporting cast steps up, this team can make more than a playoff push. Obviously, I'm banking on Arike to make some big improvements herself. She's been quite inconsistent in her first few seasons in the league, always having a few terrible games here and there, and as a result, 2 of her 3 seasons in the league, she's shot below 40% from the field. However, if she's able to stamp out these handful of poor games, for the most part, she can genuinely average 23 points per game or more. That's the level of her scoring talent, and that in itself would set her up for an MVP campaign. If the Wings can take a leap in the wins column as well, with Arike no doubt leading that charge, I think there's a great chance Ogunbowale has a shot case for the MVP award. At the very least, I think she can be a finalist for the award, finish top 3 in voting, something like that. I just feel like the timing is right with Arike as she enters her prime. This one is probably more of a gut feeling than anything else, but I really can't think of a reason why this season wouldn't be the one where things click for Arike and she starts to take off to be one of the best guards in the W. Number 4. Courtney Vandersloot breaks her own assist record. There isn't a better passer in the league than Courtney Vandersloot, maybe in the league's history. In a game in the Wubble, Courtney set a league record of 18 assists in a single game, which is ridiculous in itself, but I have a feeling she can top that this season. She's going to be surrounded by arguably the best offensive talent she's ever been with the Sky bringing back Kalia Copper, Candace Parker, Ali Quigley, and bringing in Emma Miesemann into the mix too. If Chicago stay fully healthy, they'll be one of the best offensive units in the league, and with someone with the basketball IQ like Vandersloot, she's going to use all these weapons to her advantage when playmaking for the Sky. Barring any significant injuries to this team like last season, Vandersloot could re-emerge as an all-WNBA talent, and I think an insane game where she dishes out over 18 assists would ultimately exemplify that. But those are all my bold predictions for today. What do you guys think of this? Do you agree with my bold predictions, or are they too outlandish for you? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, and be sure to drop some of your own bold predictions for this season down there too. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.